everybody, it's Catherine from In the Pink Designs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and my project today is a gift box that measures 5 1/4 by 4 by 1 inch. Alrighty, now inside here is some silly Scents sand from Crayola, and what it is I think they call it, my kids liked it under kinetic sand. It's like the easy to clean up sand, but this is scented. This one is strawberry and this was green apple, but you could fit other things in here, gift cards, other small gifts. It will not fit an A2 card though, it's too small. Alrighty, I got these from the dollar spot in Target, and they were $1, and there was lots of them, and there were several different colors and scents. Okay, so let me show you what we need. Oh, first I forgot to tell you, I used the Holly Jolly Wishes stamp set for the sentiment, Be Jolly for the Santa. I used the So Many Snowflakes dies, which are from last year, for the snowflakes, the layering circle dies, and for the vellum I used the Scalloped Contour dies. Alrighty. Okay, so this is what we need here. Alright, we need 3 of the snowflakes from So Many Snowflakes out of silver foil paper. Okay. We need a scalloped circle and a solid circle. The solid circle out of basic white is about 2 1/8 inches. Okay, and these are both layering circle dies. We need the scalloped circle is about 2 1/2 inches out of Balmy blue. Okay, we need a piece of vellum that I cut with the Scalloped Contour dies, and this one is, it's about 4 1/2 inches long, so that's the scallop I used. We need a piece of basic white for stamping the Santa, and we need 2 pieces of this DSP. Now this is an unlikely one. This is from the Euro Peach designer series paper from the springtime. I think it was in the annual catalog. And these, we need 2 pieces that are 5 1/4 by 4, and you can put it only on one side if you want. You don't have to put it on the back. Okay, and then the main piece is a piece of Balmy blue that is 11 by 8, so we only need to cut off a 1/2 inch off the 8 inch side. Alrighty. Okay, so let me get my Simply Scored, and we're going to start on the 11 inch side. Okay. And we're going to score at 1, 5 1/4, 6 1/4, and 10 1/2. And then I'm going to turn it to the 8 inch side, and I'm going to score at 1, at 6 1/2, and at 7 1/2. Okay, and that's it. And I just wanted to remind you that all of the measurements will be on my blog, which if you click the little down arrow on below the video box on YouTube, it will have a bunch of information, and one of them is the details are on my blog. Just click that link and it'll bring you right back there. Alrighty. So let me fold and burnish. Okay. Alright, so how we're going to put this is with the skinny rectangles on the top and the right hand side in the landscape. Okay? And this is what we're going to do. So we're going to start on the bottom left hand side. There is a square here. We're going to cut up to the first score line and then wedge a little bit out of each side of the square. Okay. Go to the other side of this long rectangle, cut it straight to the first score line. Other side of this square, straight to the first score line. And then we're going to wedge a little piece out of each side of the square. Okay. All right, now we're going to go to the other side of this long rectangle, and we're going to get rid of this skinny rectangle here and then wedge a little bit up into the skinny rectangle that's above it. Okay, so that's the bottom. We're going to turn it 180. All right, and we're going to start over here on the left-hand side. We're going to get rid of this skinny rectangle and the little square. So cut up to the second score line, and then we're going to wedge into the skinny rectangle above it. All right, now this we do not need, okay, because this is going to be our flap over here. So we're going to go over to the next score line here, cut up to the second score line, and then we're going to take this whole piece off. And the worst that will ever happen if you cut the wrong side off is that your seam, if you want it, your seam would be in the front. And really that's not too much of a big deal. If you cut off this side instead of that, you can always make it work. Like in this here, I must have had a little ink on my finger and I got a little mark there. So I just took my black Stampin' Up marker and made another one of those little wiggly lines, and it's fixed. Alrighty, so that's usually something you can do. Okay, sorry. There's a square and a rectangle here. We're going to go to the other side and cut up to the second score line. Get rid of the skinny rectangle there, and then wedge a little bit off of each side of the square. Okay, now these two are going to be our flap. So then go to the other side of these two rectangles, cut straight to the second score line, get rid of this rectangle on the bottom here, and then wedge a little off of each side of the square. Okay. All right, now we need our detail trio punch, and we're going to round the corners of our flap. And you can use a corner rounder for this also if you don't have a detail trio punch. All right, now we're going to take a little finger hole out of the side without a flap, all right? I would suggest to just put your DSP on there, and then you don't have to do it twice. So just this piece we're going to put on right now. And this, both pieces, or you could just not put one on the back. You don't have to even put one on the back. And this piece is, I know it's 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, so now that's on. And then we're just going to take a 1/2 moon or a little less out of the middle of it, just so that when they open it, that's a good grip. All right, so now we need our tear and tape, and we're going to put it on what's left of the skinny rectangle on the side, and we're going to put it close to the score line. I'm going to take the backing off with my Take Your Pick tool. I'm going to flip the whole thing over, flip the part with the tape over, and then flip the edge over to meet it. Okay, so this is our back. First, let me close this so we can stand it up. Okay, so this is our back. We're going to put the sides in and the back, and this is where we want our tear and tape. So, because the sand is a decent weight, I'm going to put one at the edge, which is the one that you always need. And then I'm going to put a little bit extra because the sand is kind of on the heavy side. Alright, and then I'm just going to try to make sure that it's nice and square. And then push it down. Open it up. I'm going to put my balloon folder in and just try and push it down Make sure that it's nicely on there. All right, now, what I did when I did this is I put my DSP right on there. Wasn't a good idea because I kept pushing all these things down and it bent the side of my box. So we're going to decorate it off the box. Okay. All right. Now we need our vellum, which is going to go right in the middle here. Okay. And our sentiment is going to go right in the middle. So I just took some Stampin' Seal. You can use Stampin' Seal Plus, and I put a few strips in the middle of it, and then just try to make sure that it's even all around, and then just push it down. All right, because that's going to be covered. You can see the, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I can see the Stampin' Seal on there, so it'll definitely be covered. All right, now while we're doing that, let's let that sit a minute. We need our circle from the layering circle dies. That's about 2 1/8, and I'm going to use the Jingle All the Way sentiment from Holly Jolly Wishes, which is retiring after the mini catalog ends. Starting tomorrow, there will be a last chance. So everything that's going to retire is on a, once it's gone, it's gone. Alrighty. Okay, so I have some base Tuxedo Black, and I'm going to get the Jingle All the Way sentiment inked up nicely. And then I'm going to shoot for the middle here. I might have missed a little. Yeah, it's over to the left. But that's all right, because Santa will kind of have his arm there, so that's okay. All right. If you wanted to do it again, if you missed it, or you can stamp it first and then cut it out, which is probably the best way to do it. All right. So we have that. And I think on this one, I popped it up, but on this one, I think I'm going to glue it down to the scalloped circle. All right, and we'll just let that dry a minute. Okay, now we need our basic white cardstock and the Memento ink again, and we're using this image from the Jolly stamp set, this one here. Good. Alrighty. Then we need a bunch of Stampin' blends. First, I'm going to use light and dark Petal Pink, and I'm going to start with the dark, and I'm going to go around the inside of his cheeks, bottom of his nose, and the other cheek, and then just under his hat and his eyebrows there, and in his mouth. You could do the mouth red too if you want it to be like his tongue there. And I'm going to just use the light Petal Pink and just kind of blend the middle out. Okay, so that's it for light and dark Petal Pink. Okay, now we're going to use light Smoky Slate, and I'm going to go around the beard, just on the edges. I'm going to use the other side. And then I'm going to just trace the little lines that they made. All right. And then I used the color lifter. And I just went along the edge of the, I do it in the light Smoky Slate. And just to make the edges a little bit softer. Oh, and I forgot to do his eyebrows in the light Smoky Slate also. Okay, now the dark smoky slate, we're going to do his belt and his boots and his mittens. Okay. All right, and then for his suit, I'm going to use dark balmy blue, and I'm just going to go on the edges and where I think there would be some shadow. So I'm going to go at the bottom of his hat here and a little bit under the pom-pom on the side here. Okay, I'm going to do this little piece on his right and little piece on the left above his belt, and then right under the belt. On the sides of the bottom here. And the bottom, and then the very top and bottom of his pants that show. All right, and then I'm just going to fill in everything else with the light balmy blue. Oops, I forgot his arms. And then the last thing is light Daffodil Delight. I'm just going to fill in the buckle. I did everything kind of pastel-y this time instead of the red and the black and the dark. All right. Now I'm just going to fussy cut him out. Okay, I forgot to do his ears, so I'm just going to fill them in with dark Petal Pink. All right, okie dokie. Now, what I'm going to do with the jingle is I'm going to put some dimensionals on here. I'm just going to try to center this where it belongs. Okay. All right. And then I'm going to put the Santa right about there. I'm going to put some dimensionals on this hand here. Not the one that's reaching up, and on his 2 feet, or close to the bottom of his feet at least, if you can't get all the way there. And one on his pom-pom. And then I'm just going to put some regular dimensionals in. Okay, then I'm going to put him just kind of right next to the words. Oh, first, sorry, I want to put just a tiny bit of glue on this hand here. Just a little dot. Get my hand stuck. All right, and we're going to have the hand right next to the E in Jingle. I'll stick, whoops. Stick all of this down. I think I just broke his hat. I did. Oh well, that stinks. Let's see what I can do. Yeah, I just have to move this a little bit and then it won't look so bad. There we go. That's fine. All right. Now, we need our silver foil paper snowflakes. All right, and we're going to decide where we want them. So I want this one about right here. Okay, so where the middle of it, about the middle of it would be, I'm going to gently pick up, oops, the vellum and put a glue dot down. Okay, and then put a glue dot on the back of, on the middle back of the snowflake, and put the snowflake down, just like that. Okay. Okay, now for the big one, the same thing. We're going to have the big one kind of going underneath the jingle. So right about right here, we want a glue dot. And this just helps to secure the vellum without showing through. There we go. And then this one's going to go right up here. So just sneak that underneath and press it. Put one on the back. And then we're going to press this down right there. And then those cover up the pieces that we use to put down the vellum nicely. All right, now we can attach this because we're not going to be pushing glue dots down. So I'm just going to use liquid glue and just attach the whole thing right to the top, and there should be approximately 1/8 of an inch all around. Oops. And then just gently press it. If you press the edges where it's strong, then the middle, you can just tap. All right, now we'll put our Silly Scents sand in there, and a gift card will fit in here. Lots of little things will fit. The big packs of gum with a gift card, or some other candy is fine too. Okay. All right, so now for some final touches, I'm going to take some Wink of Stella and I'm going to put it on the hat band. And this is usually below the belt. Is that usually fur too? But that's all right. You don't have to put it on the pom-pom because we're going to put something on there. I'm going to put them on the armbands here. Okay, you could put it on the beard too if you'd like to. All right, and then we're going to use some blue adhesive back gems, which are also from last year. They're still available. And I'm going to put 3 of the small ones, let me pull this up a little bit, in the middle of all of the snowflakes. I'm going to take a large one and put it right there on the sentiment piece, and then, oops, one right there, and one right there. Okay, and then an opal round, the smaller opal rounds. I don't have enough sticky. There we go. Right on the hat ball. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all that time you spend, and my the people that leave lovely comments. I am so happy, and I try to get a response to every comment that someone makes. So if you have any questions, you can put them in there. I don't speak Spanish, so I have a little bit of trouble with Spanish comments, but I can kind of figure them out. All right, so if you have any questions, below is my blog that has all the measurements on it. My contact information if you want to contact me. The link to join my team if you want to become a hobby demonstrator or a demonstrator is below, and also my store link to buy these supplies from Stampin' Up. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you on Friday. Bye. Please subscribe.